Mike here, Money, Marriage, and Media, and you guys know what we do. So today we're looking at the channel's called Anton Daniels. Now I like Anton because number one, he's pro-marriage. Not only that, but he's been married for I think almost 20 years. So like I always say, it's good to see we need more married people on YouTube, especially if we're trying to improve the marriage rates with the purpose of rebuilding our community through nuclear families. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. I should note that it looks like the format of his channel may have changed because this looked like it's like a podcast setup with actual in-person guests. His channel wasn't like that before, so first time I'm seeing this. So if it's your first time, hey, we're looking at it together. But let's go ahead and get it going.
How important is it to be in a relationship? Like, do you think it's necessary? Like, is companionship as important to you as maybe it was in yesteryear or people before? Because I know that a lot of people emphasize the importance of being married or what age you get married, and I don't.
Okay, spoiler here. I already see where this is going. The younger women are going to say it's not important, and there was an older. Let's see if we can point her out.
Men and women, but in a general sense, and y'all can just speak whenever y'all want to speak because we just kicking it, we just having a conversation. How important is it to y'all to be in a relationship?
It's not.
There we go.
Period.
Why is it?
Younger women who are in their prime very rarely see the need for a relationship. Why? Because they have plenty of offers for something. So younger women tend not to value that stuff. She's probably gonna say something about building her career or something like that. It's YouTube talking points.
It's not important.
Why is it important?
I don't know. You tell me. Do you think that you need a man for anything?
No.
For nothing?
No. Don't nobody take care of me now. I take care of myself. So, no, there's nothing a man can do for me that I can't do for myself. So, no, it's not important.
Do you think that life would be easier if you had a man in your life that was filling a certain need? Okay, so let me revise it. This is gonna be good. What do you need a man for?
Take the groceries in the house. Take the trash out.
We're gonna do that.
Put some
with one
gas
hand,
in my
20
car.
bags, one hand.
You know, like that's about it though.
I don't know.
That's all.
We probably
Like,
need
I
a
can
van
do
for a
that,
little
so-
bit more than just that.
That's what she thinks of men. Again, I always say this. If that's what you think of men, then what's the relationship with your father like? Because again, oftentimes parental relationships are our source relationships. So if you think that little of men, what's the relationship like with her father?
That and
Like
it's
what?
a companionship. It's someone to make you feel good. It's someone that will continue to like motivate you, root you on. And I mean, sex is a nice part of life.
I don't know. They're giving y'all a lot of different toys now. They're giving y'all a lot of options at this point.
I'm not a toy person. I'm not a toy person. I want the real thing, all the time.
Is it that big of a difference?
Yeah, definitely a difference.
This lady in the white, she looked like she's probably older than the other two sitting on the couch with Anton. I suspect that her answers are going to be different. The other woman that's sitting by herself, we just heard from her. She looks like she might be in between the young ladies and this lady in white in age. So I would expect her answers to be a little bit more middle of the table. Then again, I could be completely wrong and they're just capping for the camera. I don't know.
It is. But is it just like, because it's more of I think that in a lot of instances, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, in a lot of instances, the emotional connection is just as important as the actual physical. When you got the emotional, it enhances it a little bit more.
For sure.
So to jump back on your original question, I think the older I get, the more important it is to be in a relationship.
Really?
Because nobody wants to grow old or be that The
Wow.
old can't teach the old dog new tricks and be at home by yourself. Come through the door, nobody there to greet you. So my younger years, I really didn't care too much. Like I can honestly count on my hand. I'm 42. I've probably been in 3 serious relationships in my life.
Wow.
Really?
But the older I get is what I look forward to.
I'm exact opposite.
I can
What do
say,
you
like,
mean?
I feel like at this age and stage, it's not that important.
Okay, I stand corrected. You can lump her in with the young ones too. At some point, I think what we're starting to see here is that the older you get, the more important a sense of community comes into play. Probably because you're thinking more about kids. Because again, if community becomes important when you have kids, because you realize that, whoa, wait, my kids have to grow up in this community. Well, what are we doing out here? Why is this community trash? I don't want my kids growing up. We got to do something to fix it. So we got to, again, that's why I go so hard about, the fact that we need each other. I got kids, and I want my kids to be able to have somebody. Something to think about. But clearly, that's not on the younger ladies. That's not on their radar right now. They're focused on being, their main focus is themselves. Nothing wrong with that, but you have to realize that has consequences. As long as you're willing to accept them, I'll say, hey, more power to you.
Because it feels like I've been there, done that. And if it happens, it happens. Once you experience something and you kind of see what it is.
Heard this one before too. If it happens, it happens. Unfortunately, this is a lot of women think like that. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's because they're not the pursuers. They're not the aggressors. The status quo is that men are going to approach them. So, I mean, I get it. It's like I said, it's probably not a negative. It's probably not a positive or a negative. It just what is.
You don't always want to take your past experiences into everything, but I've been there, done that, and I'm
that's the key
good.
word.
And
But you've been there,
I
done
feel
that.
Been there,
like
done that.
I feel like I do what I want to do now, and it's good.
So I'm the opposite too. But then you said you 42. I'm 22. When I come home, I'm not worried about a man being in my house.
Please get out.
I'm
Shouldn't
not.
be.
you
So
know,
are you
like,
here?
I'm not worried about that. Like
You might not be
dated,
worried
I
about
dated
it, but
somebody
what-
when I was 18, freshman year of college. It was a mistake. We don't gotta talk about it. But like, I'll go through these little phases. Like
Okay.
1 week before my period, I'll be like, damn. I feel like I should have somebody here. And then once those 3 days get over, I'll be like, I'm cool.
Right.
I wonder if she's talking about ovulation. Nature's way of telling you that this is the optimal time for you to get pregnant. Yeah. Part of life. Let's go.
Chilling. This is like it is what it is. But I think
That's-
it's like because I never. Part of it might be because I never like my first relationship was real bad, so I was like, I don't need it. I'm cool. And then I have so much to worry about right now. Like for me personally, I'm getting my master's degree. I have track to worry about. I have a job. Like I don't have no kids. I don't have to worry about that. I can focus on me right now, and it's cool. But like,
I think it's all about timing, so that's
yeah,
real.
yeah.
And-
It's
and-
like
and,
as
yo,
I get older.
As in, she doesn't have any time. I mean, that's a jam-packed schedule. So that explains it, and also explains why when she gets home, yeah, she trying to go to sleep. She ain't gonna be, because you got all that going on. But here's the caveat, because I'm 41, she's 22. I can tell you that the older you get, the busier life gets. So this notion that, well, I'm too busy now. Okay, well, if you're too busy now, chances are you're not going to have any free time. Because again, life gets busier as you get older. Time starts to pick up its pace because you have a lot more things going on. You have a lot more responsibilities. So she's got a lot of responsibilities now. If her schedule doesn't lighten up, eventually, I mean, well, let's go. I'm not going to take it there.
Like I might be like, all right, because I
But-
do want to have a family. I want to like get into that. Like I've always wanted to have somebody that's like my.
Look at the Anton's face. This woman here wants it all. That's not possible. is scheduled, because literally we already heard her schedule. Okay, well, when are you gonna have time for said family? Raising kids takes effort. You're not just going. I mean, because well, unless you're okay with just taking your kids and having them raised by strangers, I don't recommend that, by the way. But how are you? Well, I mean, I guess you could date a guy who is okay with being a. Let's go ahead and move on, because I don't want to get off topic here.
My own, have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
When I get to that age, I'm gonna say it's important, but right now I'm not worried about it.
I think it's funny though that it's always like, oh, I don't need a man, I don't need it. It's like, but wouldn't it be better? Like, couldn't that like add to your quality of life though?
I feel
like
it
just
could.
being real. Like,
No, it
we
could.
get it. Everybody could live on their own because at some point, at some moment in time, everyone has had to do that to a certain
Right,
extent.
right.
I feel like maybe. Right?
Right.
I mean, even
know?
if you're in a relationship,
So-
sometimes when you grow old with people, or even if you don't grow up, they might die. Then you gotta live on your own again. So
Yeah. So I think people, but it's like, I think
She seems to be operating out of fear. It's something that, let's just keep that in mind. I think, and going forward with these videos, that's something that we need to start taking note of, because I'm noticing a pattern here of a lot of these women who claim to be, who prefer to be by themselves. I'm strong, I'm independent. The only thing I need a man for is to carry some groceries in the house. Is it fear that's causing them to think like that? Something I think that deserves a little bit more research. And we're going to keep that in mind when we start analyzing these videos and breaking this stuff down. Because let's go.
now the conversation is always like, oh, well, I could do this by myself. It's like,
I've never lived with
I
a
know.
guy, so I never lived with nobody but my mom and dad. So I
Yeah.
can't.
I think it's a bias for
I
me.
just don't. The older I get, at first I used to think it was real important.
Something happened to her. Because you don't go from watching your mom and dad work in cooperation to the only thing a man is good for is carrying groceries in the house. Something's going on there.
Like to be in a relationship and stuff. But the older I get, it's just like, girl,
Yeah.
what do you
So I
want
got
that
a
for?
few different views on it. I'm with him. The older I get, the more I think it's important. At 18, I had my first child. I moved out with the man. I played the housewife role without that real title up until I was in my 30s. And then my life spun out of control because I wasn't allowed to work. I was with the older dude. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I was financially taken care of, but couldn't go to college. Now I have a 24-year-old daughter who has graduated college, out here living, and my thing to her is, you only can be young once. So you should experience your young life,
Oh, boy.
have fun, and then mature into a relationship. Whereas
Well, let me let her
I
finish.
had to go through all my downfalls in my 30s. Now I work in the healthcare, and I see how important a relationship.
The pendulum swung too far back in the other direction. So you have this woman, she has gone from one extreme to the other inside of a generation, right? She goes from being, she was with a man who was above average earner because he's paying for everything. She's not working. The no going to college thing is kind of strange. That seems kind of controlling. Unless, well, I guess if she got pregnant, so maybe she didn't have, maybe their thought was she just doesn't have time to go to school. Seems kind of weird, but I don't know. I mean, she didn't really give us a lot there. But like I said, the pendulum is going in the other direction because, again, when she said, well, it lasted until my 30s, so now you out in the world again and you're panicking, there's that fear again, right? Well, I'm not raising my daughter. My daughter needs to go to school and do this and da-da-da. And you're only young once is really bad advice. Because, again, what are we looking for? I think one of the biggest problems in our community is that our maturity levels are entirely too low. And this attitude to where you can just live your life and then, you know, once you get over to the other side of the rainbow, everything's going to be perfect. That's just not, that's a Disney fairy tale. And I hate that term because it's getting cliche at this point, but if it doesn't, man, damn if it don't fit though, right? But yeah, you need to take life. My advice to any young person is you need to take life serious. There's no time to be just living your life and having fun. No, having fun is one thing, but you need to be you need to be handling your responsibilities.
Is so much more than just sex and a man financially taking care of you. That is like a true commitment. At this point, I'm looking for someone to be bored with. Who can I enjoy doing absolutely nothing with?
Yeah.
Because it gets to a point that may be exactly what you're doing, nothing.
That sounds great in your 40s. But I guarantee you, I wish they had the camera on the young girl's face when she said that, because I'm imagining them just turning their nose up at that. Nothing. I want to be lit. I want to go out and have fun. Yeah, no, just okay.
I see people who don't have anyone coming and visiting them, and then I see people who come every single day to visit their loved one, and their loved one can't even communicate back with them. If you wait and you don't have anyone, and then you get to that position, that's really where you're gonna be with nobody.
Right.
For sure. I think it comes in waves. And even though I say, been there, done that, I will never say I don't need a man, because that's just not where I am.
Okay, so that's the end of that. This is an interesting concepts. I think what we're gonna. I mean, it's an interesting concepts, but they're repeatable results. What I didn't hear a lot. I mean, they're genuine conversations, but you see, I think the what do you say? The type of people on the show are well represented on other platforms, so you get a lot of the same answers. I'll be interested to see the direction that Anton takes this in, because again, he's highly intelligent, so it'll be interesting to see if he actually starts having some high level conversations. Most of that was just background information. I mean, there wasn't a lot of high level conversation going on there. Everybody pretty much fit their role. Like I said, I called it early. Young girls are gonna think about, I don't need a relationship. It's not that important. Older people will be like, yeah, relationships are important. It's just that's just the way things are. So it'd be interesting to see where they take that conversation. And you can see it already. They got another episode here, so we definitely gonna break down another one. As a matter of fact, we might do this one next, but if it is, it's gonna be a part 2, just because I got other stuff to take care of real quick. But we're gonna reset the stage, and I'm gonna stay ghost to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. But do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.